The anatomy of a woman is a medical mystery for many people on this earth. The reason being is because no one cares about it. Everything in this earth is centered around men. It's a strange and uncomfortable truth about the modern world that has been away for a very long time. The default human is always man. Even the word woman is an extension of man. Even the word female is an extension of male. Everything in society is male dominated. And we quietly assumed everything to just be a man. And once you see that pattern, it kind of becomes impossible to see anything else. You see it everywhere. It's hiding in the design of machines, the assumptions of medicines, the way research is conducted, the way products are engineered, the way culture teaches people what bodies are supposed to look like, and what lives are supposed to matter most. Civilization developed layers of systems that treated the male body and the male experience as the baseline reference point. And it's not even out of some evil, malicious thing where men are gathered in a room together and saying, all right, guys, women, let's put them as bottom tier citizens. It is out of centuries of inertia where men had held institutional power and therefore designed the tools. They wrote the textbooks, conducted the studies, and built the structures that shaped everyday life. Picture this, right? I want you to imagine this for a moment. Let's say your wife dies. Tragic, horrifying moment for you. It's the worst thing ever. It's probably the most disrespectful thing to ever happen to a man. How could a woman die on me? It's angry. It's angering. But then you find a new wife. Maybe you find a younger and hotter wife. Alright, guys? Come on. You find a younger and hotter wife. And people don't even question that. They say, oh, I'm happy you found a new wife. And then they kind of go on about their day. But let's say a woman loses her husband and she finds a new guy within, 4 months, 3 months. How could you, are you just gonna move on after that? See, this is why I couldn't get married. It's because women just move on so fast. Picture that. Imagine the difference between those two things. A man could have, it's almost common for a man to have multiple wives, 15 wives or 10 wives at once, or have a second family. It's kind of just regular for men. If a woman so much as moves on 4 years after the marriage, they say, whoa, hold on. You're moving on so fast. Strange, isn't it? You begin to look and wonder why that is. When the people designing a system all share the same body and perspective, the perspective becomes invisible because nobody inside the room notices what is missing. So the world is always quietly forming and has formed around a template that did this exact thing. Didn't represent everyone living inside of it. The male body is the default for everything. It's a standard. It's when on a pill bottle, when it says take 2 a day, that's for men. All the doses were made for men because nobody cared about women. Think about that. Female bodies all around are variations, exceptions, deviations. They require special handling. That's what's going on here. That's what's happening. For literally all of human history, I want you to look at medical history right now for a moment. It's so obvious there. Every drug, all of them were in treatments that were developed and tested for male bodies. For decades, clinical drug trials heavily relied on male participants. Every woman body, all of them, they were excluded and minimized for one reason. Well, actually 15 reasons, but I'm going to say the biggest reason. Hormone cycles. Hormone cycles were very inconvenient. It's disgusting. The work week is built on male hormone cycles. It's made data harder to interpret because menstruation and pregnancy, it's a lot of complexities that researchers didn't want to do. It's too hard to understand. Men don't have that. If you introduce complexity, it's going to ruin everything. Entire generations of medications were approved using research that barely included women, which are half the population. Half the population was taking drug doses whose dosage standards and side effects were only calibrated for male physiology. That's it. There are around bodies that process chemicals differently, metabolize compounds at different rates, store substances at different tissue types. Women experience adverse drug reactions at higher rates partially because of differences in metabolism, the body fat distribution, and hormonal chemistries that were not fully considered when those medications were first tested. And some medications were even removed from the market after researchers realized, okay, they may be killing women, literally destroying them. The gap between the default medical model and the reality of female biology created decades of invisible risk of women suffering side effects that were never documented in trials, and then they were just put on the population, approved by a lot of people, approved by doctors, and then pushed onto the population. That's what happened. You know, it's always super cool and super fun. For, I don't know, centuries, heart attacks were a predominantly male medical problem, and the symptoms that were taught in the textbooks were only done with male patients. They were derived from male patients. Crushing chest pain radiating down the left arm. That's the iconic warning sign in every public health campaign. In every medical training material, it's just left arm, big pain, that's good. That is the pattern researchers observed when studying predominantly male populations. Women experience a different pattern. It could be nausea, fatigue, back pain, dizziness, jaw discomfort, symptoms that look nothing like the classic presentation. Countless women were misdiagnosed or dismissed in emergency rooms because, well, you don't have any left arm pain, so you must not be having a heart attack. Studies have shown that women are significantly more likely to be misdiagnosed during cardiac emergencies, and many have been sent home from hospitals while experiencing life-threatening events simply because the medical model did not fully account for how female bodies present distress. That's it. That's the biggest reason there. Whole reason there. I say this to say, and this is so important, and I know people are going to harp on me. I care so much about biology, and I care deeply about the differences between male and female. I care deeply about that because women historically have been treated wildly bad for a large time. I'm going to be very careful with my wording here. If you are biologically a male, please specify that. If you're biologically a female, please specify that at a doctor's office. It could literally save your life, because if they give you the treat, and this is so messed up to say, if you are biologically a male and they give you patient stuff that is meant specifically for females, you could die. You could die. You could literally die, right? I'm being so honest right now. You could literally die. If you are a female and you say you're a male and they give you stuff specifically for a male, you could die. You could 100% die. I am so serious. Please, for the sake of your life, for the sake of the life that I hope you want to live, don't let your gender identity stop you from being alive. I'm so serious about it. It's just biology. I'm not unaffirming your gender or unaffirming whatever you are. I just want to be really specific here that you could literally die. Why I'm bringing this up, I've had 7 friends die because of this. 7. I've had 7 people lose their lives because of this specific thing. That's why I care so much about this. It's very important to me. Pain management. Pain management is also another disturbing pattern in the way doctors are trained to interpret suffering. Because women frequently report chronic pain conditions, yet are more likely to have their symptoms dismissed or attributed to emotional stress, a woman describing intense pain may be told she is anxious, hormonal, exaggerating. Her physical distress is always going to get reframed as a psychological weakness, right? Men reporting similar symptoms are more likely to receive aggressive diagnostic testing or medication that actually addresses their suffering. Chronic conditions that primarily affect women, such as endometriosis, could linger for years without proper diagnosis. It's going to leave patients trapped in a cycle of appointments, dismissals, and frustrations while their suffering is treated as mysterious or psychological. It's not in your head, it's in your organs, dude. Endometriosis alone affects millions of women and often takes 7 to 10 years to diagnose. It's because medical research historically prioritized other areas while women's reproductive health received less attention and funding because the default human did not have a uterus. and therefore uterine conditions are always secondary concerns. The part everyone gets on me about is when I bring up the protective gear. Now, a lot of my friends have a lot of trade jobs. A lot of women are into plumbing that I know. A lot of women do welding that I know. And if you ever know about engineering and safety designs, they are specifically built for men. Decades, the average male body height, average male body weight, bone density, posture. A simplified stand-in for humanity that actually only represented half of it. That's what it is. Vehicles are engineered around that model. Seatbelts, airbags, headrests, steering geometry, optimized specifically for male proportions. Torsos for a certain lift, sitting positions of a certain height, bodies that distribute force in a certain way during impact. Women often sit closer to the steering wheel because of height differences, have different torso structures, distribute weight differently across their bodies, and those variations mean safety systems sometimes protect them less effectively, sometimes cause injury they were designed to prevent. Studies have found that women are significantly more likely to be injured in comparable car crashes, even when wearing seatbelts, because the safety environment was calibrated for a different body. Now I know what you're gonna say. Why, and this is, a lot of men say this to me and it pisses me off every time I hear it, so I'm gonna say it right now. Why should we we shouldn't change everything? Why would we change it? It doesn't make any sense. We can't accommodate for everybody. Hold on. You disgusting, weak, annoying, pestering little snail skull, little failure of a human being. You subspecies filth. Listen to me with your whole chest. I want you to shut up and listen to me with your ears for 10 seconds. I really want you to listen to me. Half of the entire Earth population is women, are females. That is half of the population. The other half is male. The other half is you guys, is you. If you don't want to accommodate for half the people on this earth, you don't even deserve to be included in the whole. Is what you don't deserve to be included. You don't deserve anything good. You don't deserve anything nice. You don't deserve anything. Period. Ever. We have designed every aspect of life around men. You don't even know you realize you benefit. You don't even realize you benefit from a system of the patriarchy because you have lived in it scot-free. Period. Same issue that people have that are in wheelchairs. Well, they have stairs, I have legs, I can walk up. Until you lose your legs, and then you realize that I can't access a lot of places because they don't have ramps. It is easy to accommodate. It is easy to change. It is the willingness to change for half of the population that is the hard part to do. We didn't even map out the entire clitoris until, I don't know. We didn't map out the clitoris until 1990? 1990 is when we mapped out the clitoris. 1990. That's when. Filthy. You piss me off. You really piss me off. I'm strawmanning me getting mad because I know what the comments are going to say. I can feel it already, and you're already pissing me off. All protective equipment shows similar patterns across countless professions and contexts. Body armor used by police and military forces are going to be male dominated because more men become police officers and military. That's true. But nowadays, we have women in the military. Women that could be police officers. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? That's so crazy. We could actually have that. And you know what happened when they first joined? It caused a lot of uncomfortable compression and poor plate positioning for all the women officers and all the female officers and soldiers who had to wear equipment that was never shaped for their anatomy. And I don't even want to bring this up because I know someone's going to comment it, but I already brought it up. There was this whole thing where I was watching a TikTok, and it was this trans woman, and she was saying, well, I'm a police officer and these fit me just fine. Made me so mad. I don't know why that made me so mad. I don't know why it pissed me off so much. I don't know why. It's like a one-off example. It's like a Lily Tino ass example. It's very Lily Tino ass example. If you don't know Lily Tino is a trans woman that goes around Disney World and talks about their genitalia in front of a bunch of people. It's a whole thing. And people say that's rooted in transphobia, that you hate that. Agitates the piss out of me. I don't know. It's so I care about biology so much because it's its differences. And the reason I care about biology so much is because these differences get people killed, right? And because nobody cares about women, like on a realistic front, nobody really cares about female anatomy in any capacity. Nobody's actually taking time to care about it. So many people die, right? And then we have tools and equipment across industries are often sized for average male grip strength and hand span. For so long, my sister was having such a difficult time using a lot of the power tools when she built desks because they're not built for women at all. She would strain her wrist and get injuries, and that just happened to a lot of women. They got to adapt to handles and weights not designed for them. They have to compensate for design choices that assumed a certain hand size and a certain grip strength and a certain way of holding using objects. It's crazy because you can do both. There are ways to do both. There are ways to do both things. Everyday technologies. Think about this, right? Voice recognition. Voice recognition systems once struggled more with female voices because training data sets contain more recordings of men. Why is that? Interesting, isn't it? The algorithms learned to understand a default voice that was lower and deeper and then had more trouble with anything else. Early smartphone sizes grew around average male hand sizes. So a lot of women weren't able to use that, unable to reach across screens. They assumed thumb length and certain palm width and a certain way of holding. You can accommodate for it's not even that hard to do. It's not even that hard to do. Even chairs. Are you crazy? It's chairs too. The first time I ever noticed this was back in the day. It was the moment where people said, "Oh, does this make my butt look big?" Right? You may have heard this statement before in your life. Maybe you watched an old movie and someone says, "That's why you have a fat butt." Nowadays, having a fat butt is great. It's amazing. But back in the day, you need a small, little, tight, cute button butt. Now, this is so important. The pendulum always shifts left and right between big butt, small butt. Always shifts back. But the reasons predominantly for small butt, and this is very important, and I mean this with my whole chest, and this, I'm not even saying that you are a creep if you like small butts. I'm not saying you're less of a person if you like small butts. I'm saying that the need of having a small butt and the hate of big posteriors is rooted in a love of childlike proportions. That is where it stems from. That is where women shaving and being smooth come from as well. That's where it starts. That's actively where it is. Because the natural body is a little hairy, right? When you hit puberty, you get hair. It's why it's called pubes. You get pubic hair. That's what happens. It's a hate of puberty and a hate of growth. That's what it is. That's why people like petite, small bodies in a lot of media centers. I'm not saying that you're less of a woman if you have a petite body, by the way. I'm just saying that's when it becomes the default. That's where it becomes the over fetishization of it. Because it's how women see themselves. It's how society values them. It's like an invisible architecture of expectations built around male perception. Beauty standards have long been filtered through the lens of male desire. It creates narrow definitions of attractiveness that women are expected to chase, even when those standards change every decade. They shift like sand dunes under winds no one controls. It just keeps shifting. In one moment, the ideal body demands extreme thinness, and I mean extreme thinness, models, Tyra Banks type thinness, right? Then curves, and the curves return as a trend. Then another aesthetic replaces it, and women are left chasing an endlessly shifting target that was never designed to be reached. It only exists primarily to be pursued rather than attained. Entire industries profit from this cycle by convincing women that their bodies require constant correction through products, procedures, and diets, Botox, BBLs, lip fillers, all this jazz. Well, I'll feel prettier if I get a lip filler. I'll feel prettier if I get a BBL. I'll feel prettier if I do this, I'll do that. You are dressing up your skeleton for nothing. For nothing, dude. For nothing. It'll make me feel better. At the end of the day, you're gonna be old. Alright? Well, I want to look good in my skin. Great. Your body has become a monument to your insecurities. You have allowed your body to be a monument to your insecurities is what you've just done. How dare you? How dare you disrespect yourself that much? But it's good for me. It's body transformation. It's gender affirming care. It's great. And I agree. You know, I agree as gender affirming care to do all this stuff, and I'm so proud of you for doing that. And every instance of body modification could be attributed as gender affirming care, because gender is a social construct to be more feminine and more masculine, to more presenting to how the world works. You're dressing up your skeleton to fit your brain, and that's fine. That's perfectly dandy. But if your beauty standard is simply not based on yourself and based strictly on the societal norms, are you even doing it for yourself? I ask you this question. Is it for you? And if it is for you, that's great. You ain't even got to comment and correct me. Yes, for you, that's great. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you that it's for you. Great. Fantastic. But, and this is just personally me, so it doesn't have to matter to you. If every time someone told me that my dark skin was an issue, or that I needed to be taller, so I need to get lengthening surgery, and that's gender affirming care to be more manly and taller, or maybe I needed to get artificial muscle put on my body, or maybe I needed to get my teeth straightened because my teeth are messed up, or maybe my eyes look too tired because I have extremely dark circles around them because of a genetic condition in my family, or maybe people told me my hair was disgusting, so I needed straighter hair. I'm not going to listen to society about how I am as a person. I am my greatest hero, and I will save myself from myself all the time. I will not listen to a hater in any universe in any capacity. That's how I am. Your dissatisfaction is a renewable resource to all these companies. They don't actually care that, oh, this is actually going to make you feel more like who you are. They don't care about that. They care about the male gaze and the perception of who you are in that capacity. That's all they care about. I hate seeing people get manipulated by companies. That's all it is. It pisses me off to high hell. You know what this pressure creates? It creates an environment where women often compete with each other for validation inside a system built around male approval. The currency of their worth is measured in male attention, and the economy runs on comparison. A young girl grows up comparing her body to celebrities, influencers, all these edited images that will quietly teach her what she's supposed to look like, what she is supposed to weigh, what shape she is supposed to force her bones into. That's what's gonna happen. Society teaches that, all by male standards. Mirrors are becoming arenas of self-criticism, quiet battle with oneself. They gotta measure their hips, judge their stomach, examine their skin. And every perceived imperfection becomes evidence of personal failure, of not trying hard enough, of not wanting it badly enough. Instead of questioning the system that created those standards, instead of asking who benefits from women hating their bodies, many women turn that frustration inward or toward other women. Oh, she's a slut. She's got a big butt and she's wearing a skirt. Oh, I hate her. Oh, you fucking idiot. Are you stupid? And I'm not even blaming you or calling you stupid. It's the fact that you're manipulated by a system catered to men. Reinforcing the cycle by policing each other's appearances and behavior by becoming enforcers of standards that you did not create. What is this? Love your fellow woman. Whether you hate sluts, whether you hate people that are promiscuous, love women. Love them. I'm so sick. If you are a woman, there should be genuinely no reason to hate another woman, right? Because I promise you, men don't hate other men. I promise you. If I have an altercation with a man, doesn't even matter. We're gonna be friends like a day later. We get past our shit so quick. Women will hold grudges for years over small trespasses, and that's simply because of men. Because it is enforced and ingrained in them over and over again. Because men don't have to compete with this patriarchal standard. They don't get the aspect of jealousy. If a guy is jealous of another guy's muscles, you know what's going to happen? He can attain those muscles, right? It's not impossible. A guy's upset about another man's height. The guy's going to say, well, I know this girl likes short guys. It's going to be easy for him. Because men uplift each other all the time, because men have positioned themselves as the victims in every situation, so other men love each other indefinitely. Male suffering is so romanticized that other men coddle together and they bond over that suffering. It's why men are easier to make friends with other men. It's why so much easier. It's why some women prefer having male friends, because it's not competitive. Even if the men want to sleep with the woman, it's not competitive. It's not that competitive. It's crazy, isn't it? Even with male competition, it's less tumultuous. Tumultuous? It's less toxic. It's crazy. It's crazy. And if it's different in your friend group, that's fine. If it's different for you, great. Go ahead and share your personal experience that you want to have with your anecdotal evidence. I'm literally talking about a large base data set. That's what I'm talking about, because patriarchy operates not only through individual attitudes, but through entire centuries of accumulated norms that shape expectations before anyone consciously participates in those expectations. It's structures so old and so deep that they feel like nature rather than history, because this isn't nature, it's culture. It's deeply culture. It is always going to be culture. A man walking through the world may never actually think about benefiting from such a system, may never feel the ways it tilts in his direction. Yet he moves through structures historically built around his body and experience, through rooms designed for his proportions, through systems calibrated for his biology, through narratives centered on his perspective. Medical research often reflects his physiology. Workplace environments often align with his metabolic patterns. Safety equipment often matches his dimensions, and cultural narratives often center his experience. None of this requires malicious intent for the advantage to exist. Men are not evil because of this, because they don't recognize they are in the system. However, I do think that well-placed stupidity is no different than malice. In a lot of cases, despite it not being malicious, none of it requires anyone to actively discriminate for the bias to persist. The system simply reduces itself through habit and tradition, through the weight of inertia, through the tendency of default settings to remain default until someone forces a change. That is what it is. Wanna know what that change was? Feminism. Feminism is a large course correction. It arises to correct the imbalance. It's not, and feminism is not a hatred towards men, right? I just want to point that out. It is a demand. That's all it is. It's simple. Simple demand that the blueprint of society expand to include everybody. That's it. The default human be redesigned to reflect the full range of bodies and experiences that actually exist. The movement pushed for women to be included in medical research, fought for workplace rights and legal protections, challenged cultural expectations about beauty and behavior, insisted that women's experiences deserve the same level of attention as man's. That's it. That's it. Female pain should be taken as seriously as male pain. That female bodies should be studied as thoroughly as male bodies. That female lives should matter as much as male lives and the stories we tell about what humanity is. Progress in many areas did not occur spontaneously. It did not arrive onto the scene because institutions suddenly decided, you know what, we should care about women. It arrives through decades of advocacy, scholarship, protest, and persistence from people who refuse to accept the idea that half the population should remain an afterthought. They kept pushing against the weight of tradition until the weight began to shift. That's what happened. That's the reality of the world. Change has been slow and very uneven, but the conversation itself, it existing, represents a shift, a recognition that the old default was never adequate. Before the people that come out of nowhere and say, she'll never sleep with you, bro. I'm married. Been married for quite some time. Very happy in my marriage. I'm not trying to white knight for women. I'm trying to talk about humans, is what I'm trying to do. You're so obsessed with viewing people as not people that you forget that you have to include the people. You forget that. More research now includes female participants. Safety testing is beginning to incorporate better models of female bodies, and cultural discussions about representation and equality are louder than ever before. The recognition that society once treated women as secondary does not mean the future must continue that pattern. It does not mean the blueprint cannot be redrawn. Systems built by humans can be redesigned by humans, can be adjusted to fit the people they are meant to serve rather than the people who happen to build them. Every moment of awareness brings civilization closer to a reality where the default human is no longer defined by a single body or perspective, where the template expands to include everybody. Right? What is normal? Well, finally we can give a better answer. Finally, we can give a better answer. And to the people that are going to comment and say, man, that word female was a slur. True. I'll give you that. Right now, female is used as a slur. The reason I use the word specifically female is specifically because I'm talking about the physiology of what is commonly deemed as a woman or a girl. Very important. Very, very, very important to me to specify those two things. Because there are women that have male physiologies. There are women in common day that have male physiologies. And I don't want to disinclude them from this conversation, but it is very important because that's a third thing. That's a specifically third thing. The way hormones affect male bodies and the way hormones affect female bodies is wildly different. And that is a whole area thing that I haven't done enough research on, but I have done enough research about male and female bodies specifically. I do know a lot about a lot of things, but I haven't done everything. I'm not perfect. So I just wanted to point that out as an aside. Anyways, hey guys, pleasure to see you all. Pleasure to have a conversation with you. I hope you have a lovely day or night, wherever you are. Please care about your fellow human. Work for advocacy for everyone. Please. Anyways, I'm sure it's going to cause a lot of arguments and conversations, all that jazz. It's a very long video. Don't really care about all that. Have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. I'm out. Peace. Bye. I always forget to talk about my Patreon at the end of these things. Anyways, if you do want to support me on Patreon, it is in the top comment. It's $1 a month. There's no extra things added. It's just general support because I make a lot of videos. That's about it. I don't want to hide content. I hate hiding content. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
Good night, be my lower. Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride.